from 9 now here on Kiwi. Well, last night in Auckland City at the HB Winter Garden down in the new Wynyard Quarter on the waterfront of Auckland City, they had an awards ceremony. It was the Innovators Awards. To tell us all about it, Vincent Heeringa was there from idealog.co.nz. Morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Wammo.
Good morning, yes. In a wonderful space, a wonderful place to have an awards ceremony down there in the Wynyard Quarter. Hopefully Auckland can retain that public space into the future. Who knows what's going to happen under the new Auckland plan, but there you go.
The space is groovy because it's two domes, two geodesic domes, kind of a tent structure, two giant igloos joined by a tunnel. And in the front part you go into literally a garden area where HP have got demonstrating some of their technology, but there's heaps of plants and sustainability initiatives. And then you walk through the tunnel to the next part, and that's all we set it up very spacey with, kind of the geodesic dome creates a very interesting dynamic where it's almost like a whispering chamber. You stand on one side and you hear the conversation from across the room. So,
it's good to know.
Yeah, it was good. We set it up with lights around and very ambient music. So rather than umst music, we just had very ambient music, and there's a lot of science behind it, Wammo.
Oh, yeah, I bet. And very fitting that it was happening down there as well, because also in that area is where they are thinking about putting an innovation hub in the future, a place where entrepreneurs and startups can work.
Yeah, that's the plan. The space lends itself, like other cities have done, but it does lend itself to creative thinking. It's a new space. It's big, wide, open, semi-industrial, awesome views, out to the Harbour Bridge and across the harbour, up the Waitemata. And the thinking is to co-locate research companies, incubators, IT, technology companies, universities, companies that are passionate about intellectual property and innovation.
Yeah.
And to the awards. So the winner, it was a terrific event. It's the first time we've done it, and so we experiment in how to do such a thing. We had 250 people packed into this tiny little igloo to celebrate, and it was very cool. It was very cool. We had Chris Liddell speaking, who is the Kiwi guy who was basically the CEO of General Motors at their lowest point. So they brought him in. He used to be one of the top knobs at Microsoft, and they brought him over to General Motors just as they went into bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Said, here you go, fix that.
That's right.
And one of his points was that the reason that General Motors had got into such difficulty was because they'd stopped innovating. They'd stopped spending money on research and had spent the decade cutting costs and producing cars like nobody wanted, like Hummers, in an age of constraining oil.
Yep.
Let's build a gigantic, wasteful engine,
crazy
vehicle. And so they've innovated. They're pioneering electric cars with the Chevy Volt and so on. But the winners last night, the overall winner is a company called Vend, V-E-N-D, and they make a lot of the stuff's quite prosaic, Wammo, so you don't get necessarily a super glam winner. But Vend basically they've got rid of cash registers. So instead of cash registers in shops, they build point of sale that sits in the cloud. So you just have a terminal, and all the processing and the analysis and the commerce is done in the cloud.
Oh yeah, that's cool. And so they took out the main award.
They did, mostly because they are just kicking ass overseas. They're selling their software internationally into big American chains, and they're really revolutionising the way that shopkeeping is done. So not shopping, but shopkeeping. So all that cash register business. In fact, they're so determined to get rid of cash registers. They've been running a competition to vote on how the cash register can be destroyed. And I think the vote is to throw it off a high-rise in Wellington somewhere.
Always fun to see technology hit the concrete.
It is indeed. Other winners, the emerging winner was for emerging technology was a very cool technology. It's come out of Auckland University called Halo IPT, and that is the wireless charging of electric engines. So if you've got an electric car, you drive into your garage over a plate, and that plate will, without wires, recharge the batteries in your engine.
That's great. And we've talked about this with respect to making roads. You can have these things embedded in roads, is that right?
Yes, you can. Because we're used to electricity being transmitted by wires, but actually using the combination of magnetics and movement creates current, and you can reverse that by having induction. It's called is the technology. So they were a winner, a couple of agricultural winners. Very cool. A thing called a pasture meter, which is you're able to drive over your pasture, and it automatically assesses the state of your soil. Very important, obviously, for people who grow things, such as horticulturists and farmers, and great to see that kind of innovation coming out of the ag sector. So it's across the board. Another winner was from the Ministry of Health and Draft FCB called The Journal. Now this is we've seen, you probably know the John Kerwin ads on TV about depression.
Yep.
So this was the first time that anyone had tried to address depression rather than just telling people it's okay, go and see a doctor. They actually would send people a journal, and the journal was an online tool which was allow you to actually almost self-diagnose and self-manage your depression. And depression is the fastest growing Western disease. May even be ahead of heart disease now. So, major issue and a terrific, innovative solution.
I've got the depression soundtrack going for you.
Oh,
you're in the background there. I don't know
that's
if you...
beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, a good night, and so the best thing about it, Wammo, is that you never have heard of these companies, and there's so many awesome companies in New Zealand that don't get acknowledged. And that was the essence of what we were trying to do, and will continue to do.
And it's the first year of the awards, isn't it? So we're looking forward to many years in the future of innovators being celebrated at these awards. Oh, that's good. Excellent. Well, idealog.co.nz was where you'll find the results and the story about what happened last night as well. I know that no doubt that'll all be happening later on today, so go check that out, and we'll talk to you next week, Vincent.
Thank you, Wammo.
Here on Kiwi Now, it's 8:47, track